Welcome to Rich OG Diaries, where ordinary minds transform into billionaire thinkers. Today we're diving deep into a truth that has shaped every fortune, every empire, and every legacy the world admires. It's not luck, it's not privilege, it's not even talent alone. It's the power of a single decision, the decision that changes everything. Every billionaire you've ever heard of stood at a crossroads once. They weren't always powerful. They weren't always rich. Most of them began with nothing more than a dream, an idea, and a burning desire to change their lives. But what separated them from the millions who never make it was a decision, bold, scary, and irreversible. In this journey, we'll uncover 5 decisions that completely changed the lives of 5 legendary billionaires. Decisions that rewired their destiny and rewrote the rules of success. By the end of this video, you'll understand one thing deeply. Your next decision could change your entire life. Let's begin. Decision 1. Jeff Bezos, leaving comfort for a garage. In 1994, Jeff Bezos was not a billionaire. He was a 30-year-old senior vice president at a prestigious hedge fund in New York. He had everything society says you should want: a 6-figure salary, a stable career, and a promising future. But one day, he stumbled upon a statistic that changed everything. The internet was growing at 2,300% per year. Bezos could have ignored it. He could have stayed safe and rich in the world he knew. But instead, he asked himself one life-changing question. When I'm 80 and I look back on my life, will I regret not trying this? That question pushed him to do the unthinkable. He quit his high-paying job, packed his life into a car, and drove across the country to Seattle, where, in a small garage, he started selling books online. That small decision, mocked by many at the time, became Amazon. Today, Amazon is one of the most powerful companies on Earth, and Bezos is among the wealthiest people in history. But remember, it all began with a man choosing uncertainty over comfort. Lesson: greatness is born the moment you choose growth over security. Most people cling to the known, but billionaires lean into the unknown. Bezos didn't have all the answers. He had courage and a decision. As Bezos once said, "I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that, but I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying." Decision 2. Elon Musk, betting it all twice. Elon Musk was already a millionaire after selling PayPal. He could have retired young and lived a life of luxury. But Musk wasn't driven by comfort. He was driven by a vision. Humanity's future, he believed, was dependent on sustainable energy and becoming a multiplanetary species. So he took nearly all his fortune, over $180 million, and split it between 2 impossible ideas: SpaceX and Tesla. Everyone said he was insane. His companies nearly went bankrupt. He was weeks away from total failure. Then came Christmas Eve 2008, a day that changed everything. SpaceX's Falcon 1 finally reached orbit, and NASA awarded a $1.6 billion contract. That single success saved both companies and launched Musk into history. Lesson: billionaire decisions often look reckless to ordinary minds. Musk wasn't betting money. He was betting on purpose. And when your purpose is big enough, fear becomes small. Musk once said, "When something's important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor." Decision 3. Warren Buffett, choosing patience over hype. While the world chased quick wins, Warren Buffett chose a different path: long-term thinking. He made a decision early in his career that defined his legacy. He would never invest based on trends or speculation. Instead, he'd only invest in companies he deeply understood and believed in, and he'd hold them for decades. In 1964, when others mocked his decision, Buffett bought a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. It was not a glamorous choice, but over time he transformed it into a massive holding company that owns parts of Coca-Cola, Apple, and dozens more. Buffett's fortune, now over $120 billion, didn't come from luck. It came from the decision to be patient when others were greedy and brave when others were afraid. As Buffett famously said, the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Decision 4. Steve Jobs, betting on think different. Steve Jobs was fired from the company he co-founded. Apple had pushed him out. Most people would have given up, disappeared, or settled into mediocrity. Jobs did none of those things. He made a decision that would change not just his life, but the entire world. He founded a new company called Next and bought a small animation studio called Pixar. Both were bold moves with uncertain outcomes. Years later, Apple was struggling, and they brought Jobs back. He didn't just return. He reinvented Apple from the ground up with a single philosophy: think different. The iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. These weren't just products, they were revolutions. Apple became the most valuable company in the world, and Steve Jobs became a symbol of visionary leadership. Lesson: sometimes the decision that changes your life comes after failure. Jobs turned rejection into rebirth. Billionaires don't fear falling, they fear not rising again. As Jobs said, I'm convinced that about half of what separates successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. Decision 5. Mark Zuckerberg, choosing vision over billions. In 2006, 2 years after starting Facebook in his college dorm, Mark Zuckerberg received an offer to sell his company for $1 billion. He was only 22 years old. For most people, that's a dream come true. But Zuckerberg said no. He believed Facebook could connect the entire world, and he wasn't willing to sell that vision for a payday. Today, Facebook, now Meta, connects over 3 billion people and is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Zuckerberg's decision to reject short-term gain for long-term impact made him one of the youngest billionaires in history. Lesson: every great dream is tested by temptation. Billionaires succeed because they choose vision over validation and purpose over price. As Zuckerberg put it, the biggest risk is not taking any risk. In a world that's changing really quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks. Final thoughts. Your decision awaits. Each of these 5 stories is different people, industries, and paths. But at their core, they share one truth. Everything changed with one decision. Bezos decided comfort wasn't worth regret. Musk decided purpose was worth every penny. Warren Buffett decided patience was more powerful than panic. Jobs decided failure wasn't final. And Zuckerberg decided vision was more valuable than money. And now, the next decision belongs to you. Maybe you're not starting a billion-dollar company tomorrow. Maybe you don't even know what your dream looks like yet. That's okay. What matters is that you choose. Choose growth over fear. Choose action over hesitation. Choose the version of yourself that scares you, because that's the version that changes everything. The decisions that change your life rarely look dramatic. They often look like tiny, quiet moments: sending the email, making the call, taking the risk. But one day you'll look back and realize they were the turning points of your destiny. So ask yourself now, what decision can I make today that my future self will thank me for? Because the truth is, billionaires aren't born, they're built. Decision by decision. Rich OG Diaries. This is Rich OG Diaries, where we turn ordinary minds into extraordinary legacies. If this message lit a fire inside you, don't let it fade. Subscribe now and join the journey, because your billionaire mindset doesn't start tomorrow. It starts right now with the decision you make today.